Ever wondered what the book of 1 Thessalonians in the Bible is all about? Let's take a deep dive. This book is a letter penned by the apostle Paul, a key figure in early Christian history. It was written to the people of Thessalonica, a bustling city of ancient Macedonia, now part of modern Greece. Paul's letter came at a crucial time when the Thessalonians were new to their Christian faith. His words were not just an encouragement, but also a guide, helping them navigate the challenges of living out their newfound beliefs in a society that didn't always understand or accept them. This book is a beacon of hope, a testament to the resilience of faith, and a blueprint for Christian living. It is as relevant today as it was 2,000 years ago, offering timeless wisdom and insights for those seeking to live a life of faith. Ready to explore the chapters in detail? Hold tight, we are diving in. Chapter 1 starts us off with Paul praising the Thessalonians. It's a beautiful scene of gratitude that Paul paints as he thanks God consistently for the Thessalonians' vibrant faith. Imagine that, their faith was so profound and so evident that it commanded the apostles' admiration and gratitude. But their faith was not just a private affair, oh no, it was a faith that led to transformation. They turned their backs on idols to serve the living and true God. And this wasn't a quiet, unnoticed transition. Their transformation was as loud as a thunderclap, their faith as bright as a beacon, and what's more, they didn't just keep this light to themselves. They became an example to other believers in Macedonia and Achaia, their faith echoing out like a call to arms for all believers. Their faith was a beacon of hope, illuminating the path for others. Chapter 2 reveals Paul's struggles and his deep concern for the Thessalonians. This chapter is a testament of the hardships that Paul faced in his mission to spread the gospel. It wasn't a walk in the park with trials and tribulations at every step, but his determination was unwavering, his sincerity unflinching. Let's delve deeper into this. His sincerity was not just in his words, but in his actions too. He worked night and day, not wishing to be a burden to anyone while he preached the gospel. This is a clear indication of his selfless devotion to his mission. Now, on to the love he had for the Thessalonians. It was not a distant, detached love. Instead, it was warm, close, and personal. Like a mother caring for her children, Paul's concern was deep and genuine. He worried about their faith, especially in the face of persecution. Through trials, Paul's genuine care for their faith shines bright. In chapter 3, we learn about Paul's relief upon hearing good news. This chapter is a testament to the power of faith and the strength of fellowship. Paul, being in Athens, felt a deep concern for the Thessalonians, and thus he sent Timothy to them. Timothy, a companion and brother in faith, was tasked to strengthen and encourage the Thessalonians in their faith journey. Timothy's mission was not in vain. He returned with a good report about the Thessalonians' faith and love. He told of their warm memories of Paul and their eagerness to see him again, just as Paul was eager to see them. This news brought joy to Paul, relieving him of his worries. It's a beautiful depiction of the bond that can be formed through shared faith and the reassurance that comes from knowing your efforts to spread love and understanding are bearing fruit. In the midst of worry, good news brings a wave of relief. Chapter 4 brings us Paul's teachings about living to please God. With a gentle tone but a firm message, Paul encourages the Thessalonians to lead a life worthy of God's calling. He urges them to aspire to live quietly, mind their own affairs, and work with their hands as they were instructed. Paul's teachings offer a simple yet profound blueprint for a life pleasing to God. It's not about grand gestures or high-profile acts of piety. It's about the quiet dignity of honest work, personal integrity, and respect for others. The chapter also delves into the subject of the Lord's return. Paul comforts those grieving for their departed loved ones, assuring them that those who have fallen asleep in Jesus will God bring with him. This chapter serves as a reminder that living a life pleasing to God is not just about obeying rules, but about embracing a spirit of love, humility, and hope. Living to please God, a worthy goal for every believer. Finally, in chapter 5, Paul provides practical advice and blessings. This closing chapter is a treasure trove of wisdom for believers. It begins with Paul reminding the Thessalonians about the day of the Lord. He describes it as coming like a thief in the night. This metaphor is a powerful reminder that the day of the Lord will arrive unexpectedly, and we must therefore always be prepared. Paul then moves on to discuss the need for readiness. He encourages the Thessalonians to be alert and self-controlled, likening them to children of light and children of the day. This is not a call to fear, but rather to vigilance and spiritual sobriety. It's a call to live each day with the awareness of God's impending return, making the most of each moment. Next, Paul turns to practical advice for Christian living. He advises the Thessalonians to respect those who work hard among them and to live in peace with each other. He encourages them to warn those who are idle, encourage the timid, help the weak, and be patient with everyone. He also implores them to rejoice always, pray continually, and give thanks in all circumstances. Paul's advice is timeless and relevant even today. It's a roadmap for a life of love, peace, and service to others. It's a call to live in a way that is pleasing to God, to be kind, patient, and compassionate. Finally, Paul ends the chapter with blessings and prayers for the Thessalonians. He prays for their sanctification and preservation, expressing his confidence that God, who called them into fellowship with his Son, will surely do it. This is a beautiful reminder of God's faithfulness and his commitment to complete the good work he started in us. In conclusion, chapter 5 of 1 Thessalonians is a rich source of practical wisdom and spiritual guidance. It serves as a reminder to live each day with purpose, love, and anticipation of the Lord's return. It's a wealth of advice leading to a life of love and peace. So, what have we learned from the book of 1 Thessalonians? We've journeyed through a text that is rich with themes that resonate even today. In chapter 1, we saw the Thessalonians' example of faith, love, and hope, a trinity of virtues that should define our lives as believers. Chapter 2 revealed Paul's pastoral heart, a reminder that we too should serve others with sincerity and selflessness. In chapter 3, we learned about perseverance, about standing firm in our faith even when times are tough. Chapter 4 urged us to live a life pleasing to God, a life that embraces sanctity and brotherly love. And finally, in chapter 5, we were reminded to stay vigilant, to live in the light and encourage each other. In essence, the book of 1 Thessalonians is a roadmap for Christian living, a call to faith, love, hope, and a life pleasing to God. It's a timeless guide, ever relevant and ever instructive. The book of 1 Thessalonians, a timeless guide for believers.